Come on in the room. Mm-hmm. Come on in the room. Come on in the room. Come on in the room. So how's everybody doing tonight? How's everybody doing tonight? I got some news, y'all. I got some news, y'all. I got some news, y'all. Well. I just don't know. Y'all, we're going to get into it tonight. But tonight, in the words of Beta Right, tonight is the night that you what? Made me a woman. You said you'll be gentle with me, and I hope you will. Because I'm nervous and I'm trembling. Waiting for who? For you to come on in. So tonight is the night. Not the night. The night that you make me a woman. So, as I do each and every time before we get into the get ends, tonight's the Divine Zone. And the purpose of the Divine Zone is to have a safe place to have culture conversations that is not necessarily deemed as appropriate by some people. It's a judgment-free zone. So, we'll invite each and every one of y'all to sit back and relax. And we're about to get into the get in because I'm not going to be below you, in front of you long. We're just going to do what? Do a little dab and we're going to get in and out. So without further ado, let's go ahead and kick it off. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe. Don't forget to like, share, and to visit my kids. So as we do each and every time before we go ahead and get started, thank you each and every one of y'all for being here tonight. Without you, would be no me. And without no me, there would be no you. So thank each and every one of y'all for taking the time out to be here with me this evening because we're gonna talk a little bit and we're gonna get ready to get up out of here. Thank you, Anthony. Come on, my face is serving tonight. This face is so old. It's been ever since this morning, child. But thank you anyhow. Didn't get a chance to reline them lips, but hey, Let's see who all's here. So we got none other than Lily's in the house with us this evening. Silent Artist is in the house. The Anthony Brown Show is in the house with us this evening. And Pastor Sugar Productions is in the house. Cousin Faith is in the house, but Cousin Faith hasn't put anything in the chat, so you know how that is. Let's go ahead and get into the get in tonight. So the one and only Lily was coming on.
Hello, hello, everyone. How are you all doing?
We doing. The one and only Silent is in the house with us this evening.
Hi everyone.
Now put lip gloss in, it's popping. Thank you, baby. And the one and only cousin Faith is in the house with us this evening.
Hey
Give
y'all,
him
what's going on?
praise.
We're not gonna be on the shady side tonight. I hope not. But
No,
with cousin Faith, we don't never know.
I'm chasing my dad real quick. Hold on.
Oh, good. What's going on with the hair?
My hair, girl, I ain't cut my hair in 2 weeks. I told you.
Mm, mm. Anyway, we're gonna go ahead and get on to this.
She's letting the girls know that she got size, girl. Like she was eating 2 weeks ago, girl. She got size and she eats size, girl. Just because she didn't have no size on the side, girl, don't mean that they don't grow, girl.
Well,
My God,
we don't
today.
know sometimes. You know.
You know the girls think the girls just bald headed.
Well, you are
That's
bald
what you
headed.
Oh, I'm bald headed by Clipper choice, girl.
say.
And I'm bald headed about wig because I definitely have hair.
Well, as you can see,
I would like to see
Girl,
Oh,
look at her. Look at her.
girl,
Look at her.
good night.
girl.
Where's my Bible at?
it.
The
Girl,
Bible ain't gonna save him, girl.
yo, Quran, girl.
Look, I'm just gonna give her a few minutes because she got to act a crate of food for a few minutes. I'm gonna give her a few minutes and then we're gonna get into to get in.
Hold on, give me 1 second.
Right.
So since Bambi's doing his thing tonight. Tonight we are going to be talking about Mr. One and Only the Jimmy and the Smacks. The Jimmy and the Smacks. You know,
There's a reason
I
you wasn't
mean
here last week.
the Jimmy and the Smacks.
Okay.
That's who we're gonna be talking about tonight. But don't forget to like, share, subscribe. Don't forget coming up next Tuesday, the one and only Lyric Music will be in the house with me. I cannot wait till he comes back. I am
I'm there.
so
Man,
anticipating it. I am just enjoying it, and we're gonna talk about
Should be a very good
everything he's
show.
doing.
I know
Huh?
he's gonna have a
I'm
word.
I
sorry.
said that should be a good show.
Yes, I'm excited for him coming back because he's gonna be opening up for
Get
a
tired of
lot
lyrics,
of
man.
big things that's coming through. So y'all just stay tuned. Y'all don't sleep on your girl. Don't sleep on your girl. The girl,
I'm sorry.
she
I'm
works.
Look at
hey
what
everybody, hey
you
Jazz, hey everybody in the chat. I hope everybody's day was going good, girl. I hope y'all got y'all a snack, honey, or a man to snack on, girl. Same thing.
I'm doing
made.
Yes. So, before we get into it, we'd like to send out prayers and condolences to the Tyson family for Miss Cicely Tyson. She done went on to
Mm,
glory.
yes, she
One of
did.
our, first,
Icon.
our first black lady.
iconic mothers.
Yeah, she
Right.
she she took us through. Our heart does go out to her and her family, and we wishing them condolences about this time. And you know, I'm not part of the family, but I'm gonna say this to everybody: please send your well wishes, but stay out of the people business. Give them time to grieve.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not, like I said, I'm not part of the family. I'm doing a hit and quit it. But stay out of the folks' business. Let them have the opportunity to grieve and to breathe because she's 90. She was 96 years old, and that's a long time for a person to be here, and that's a lot of
And
memories
baby,
to
she
go
lived
through with
all of her
this
life,
artist.
honey.
And she has been in some of the most iconic black cultural movies that we have here. And she was a woman that gave us grace and elegance all the time on stage. And baby, let's not forget when she came and she had
The
her
epitome, honey.
infamous hat, baby, and she was dressed from head to toe.
Yes, honey.
And she was always slayed.
It was
So I'm just saying that y'all can say what y'all want to say, y'all can be mad with me, but I'm just asking. Y'all send your condolences, but then please take and turn around and do what? leave them alone. Let them have their space. Everybody during the time agreement, everybody handle agreements very differently. And if you was in that if you was in that space, you will want people to leave you alone so you can take and do your grievance. And a can no one tell a person how long is a time frame for a person to grieve. So whether it's 5 seconds, whether it's 5 years, whether it's 15 years, can't nobody tell you how to take and grieve. And that's all I'm gonna say. I'm off my horse tonight. That's all I'm gonna say. Welcome in,
Now, if
Kia
you
Brown
grieving
done
after
came
5
in,
years,
Miss
girl,
Charlotte done
I'm
came
going to
in,
try
Greasy
to
Blue
move
done
around.
came in. What you say, how?
I said, if you still grieving after 5 years, girl, it's time to snap out of it and move around.
Yeah, but you can't tell a person how long
Unless she was married to the woman,
a mother. You can grieve over your mother that long. What are you talking about? Grieving has different process. You have to go through the letting go. You have to
And
go
then
through the
sometimes you have to
you
snap
have
out
to
of it and
go
move
let
around.
go of the sadness that comes along with it.
Jasmine,
You
you
have
said
to
you a
let go
Virgo
through
girl.
knowing a person is not no longer
Grieving, grieving. Well, when I think of grieving, I think of like moping around, sad, and all the things.
no,
Like you
it's more
just
to
depressed.
grieving
I know
than
there's more to it than
sad.
that, but if you're still in that stage, that's what I'm saying. Like snap out of it and move around. You can miss and do all of the things, but you still have to at some point get up and move around. That's all I was saying. Back to our scheduled programming.
I was just giving you a minute or two because you look like you was about to get ready to
Oh,
go.
girl, once I took this second bite of this spoonful, girl, I was done.
Okay, well, praise the Lord. So,
Just a
I
spoonful of
picked this
sugar,
up.
girl.
So I picked this up, and Lily's gonna give us a little heads up on the reading on this. But I picked this up, and we're gonna get into the Jimmy Snack situation, but it's gonna catapult over into another situation that we're taking and we're gonna be talking about tonight. Uh, what the hell does how disappear to? What? What? Okay. Well, we're gonna go ahead and get into it. So, from the one and only DTS, she said, "If you like to f with the trans woman, that's your business, and the public don't need no explanations. One person that needs to be notified is the person that you decide to. I don't feel like your spouse should know. Should no give them the right or hold on, we're just gonna leave the rest of it out. But I completely agree with the first part of it is saying that why should you notify? And it goes back to telling the person that you're coming out. It
She
goes
said
hand in
only
hand.
your
Why?
spouse should know. One, you
That's
shouldn't be cheating on your spouse, period. So we just gonna X that out, that last statement, because that don't even make sense.
no. What she was saying though is I understand what you're saying because she came on the live today and she was explaining that if
Oh,
your
if you
spouse
messed with a
notifies,
trans person in the past?
yes,
Oh, okay.
when so many women when so many women and they say well the first thing they want to say is that I'll be more respectful of a man if a man is upfront with me and telling me what's going on, this, that, and the third. But then when a man opens up and allows you and tells you, but then they get up to the mad because they feel like, oh, then the whole world then came to an end. And for those y'all that are just tuning in with us and don't know, um,
Girl, we have all nasty opera selection, girl.
Girl, it's not
I
gonna be an
enjoy it.
opera, girl. It's a waltz, girl.
I enjoy it. It's free music.
Why I like it?
I enjoy
Girl,
it.
I'm not, girl.
But
And what's that music that used to play that? Dun, 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 dun. What is it?
Girl, it's waltz music,
Go
girl.
ahead. Go ahead, Jeff.
I be missing this and this whole just so rude. She just interrupts me. Just so rude.
That's
I'm
Facebook.
interrupting you, girl.
You do. You do all the time. In the mid sentence, you just
Facebook, my husband.
Girl,
Right.
the house of Zyla, girl, interrupted you, girl.
Girl, it's background music for the show, girl. Keep
I
going.
told you I enjoyed the background music, but I was asking Lily earlier. Me and Lily was talking about something, and Lily sent me this. And Lily, from your perspective, I'm gonna put it up on screen. And go ahead and explain this.
Oh, so trans film is a term. I wouldn't say necessarily under the trans umbrella, but it's mostly under the trans umbrella. But it's often used to describe, or many trans women identify with a trans femme, or any a non-binary being might identify more with feminine or as a woman. Because remember, being non-binary means you can. That means that you don't necessarily identify with either gender or within the gender norms per se. So, in being non-binary, that depending on that person, they could define themselves in a various ways. But many non-binaries like myself do identify as trans femme, meaning that I align more so my energy, my taste, my aesthetics to feminine energy, to feminine looks, to women, pretty much. So that's more so of a rather encompassing term, just in terms of trans. I mean, it includes trans women too, but to include like having that whole all the trans bodies who do identify with that feminine energy on the spectrum.
So the question of the night is, who is Jimmy Smack? Anyone wants to take that?
What that sound?
Oh, anyway, sorry.
Who wants to take it, girl? Because I don't know much about him.
I didn't. I saw the story, but I never opened it.
So, from my understanding, he is a OnlyFans creator, and he does. If you ever check out his content, he actually does have some really good content. But and that he's an OnlyFans creator, so we all know what OnlyFans is, hopefully. But if not, that's pretty much a site for. It's not just for. I don't want to say porn because I don't like that, but it's not a site for porn creators, but just for porn creators. But that's what it's popularly known for. But he identifies as a cis heterosexual man. He started his, I don't remember when he exactly started his OnlyFans, but he has been a while around in the industry for some time. And to my understanding, he's the first heterosexual cis man to actually make $1 million on the platform and counting.
Right.
So that's
from what I've understand, from what I've gathered and I've looked at or whatever, not on, to add to what Lily was saying, he also is a person that went out and did a lot of the different fetishes and stuff that a lot of other men wanted to do, but never had the goals to do it. As far as having sex with, multiple women, having sex with a little person, having sex with two little people at one time. And
Well, that's how he made his money. Then he went out and did what his fans wanted.
Yeah, and then got into also into like water sports and different things like that. So we're getting into not only just about him, but what I really wanted to touch on, it wasn't necessarily about him. He was the catapult to push into that. But what I really wanted to talk about, like basically a part two, why is it that it's a double standard whenever, a female says, okay, so I had an experience. And I really wish that Nivea or someone would come on. I really wanted a female to come on too, to be a part of this, not just, us of the community. Um, but
Nivea and Breezy, click the link, girls. Let's go.
I'm trying to figure out. Well, the only ones here is Breezy Breeze here, not Nivea and Devin's not here. But my question is that for women that say, okay, I want to know, I want you to be open and honest with me, but then when a person is open and honest with them, then they get hit with ridicule. But they can experiment when they're in high school and college, and it's an experimentation. So to me, in my eyes, if it's good for the goose, it's good for the gander. So if you're saying that because he had one experience that makes him gay, if you had one experience, it also makes you gay. If we're saying what's good for the goose is good for the gander. But why is it that it's always so much ridicule behind a person being who they are instead of accepting what a person is? It's just like even when, and I'm glad Silent here. I'm not putting your business out there because you've talked to us about it. But for even with Silent being a bisexual male, then the first thing they say, "Oh no, you're just gay." And do they or do they not, Silent?
Hmm.
They don't never give you the opportunity to be like, well, this is the qualities that I look for, and this is what fills me. And even if you do a one-time thing, you still should not be classified that you're gay, especially if the standard for women, oh, that's a straight man's or that's a male, heterosexual male's fantasy is to see two women together. Oh, that's all good. That's the American dream right there.
Hmm.
So I'm gonna be quiet. I'm gonna give y'all the opportunities, but please let's be tasteful in how we're taking and delivering stuff.
I feel attacked.
You
Good.
should.
You should, girl. Girl, you should, because you know how you felt get, girl. Well, I guess I'll start. So, you know. So, I had to say, it's very interesting, especially when you talk about, especially what you ended up saying, Jasmine, about the two women and being a male's fantasy and stuff like that. That also is part of the whole patriarchy thing, where it's more for the male gaze than anything, because two women being intimate together is more for um, the men's sexual attraction and for their sexual exploration than for the female's exploration.
May I
So that.
stop you for just a second?
Mhm.
Can you explain the terminology for people that are just joining in with us? Can you explain the terminology patriarchy, archie? Y'all know what I'm talking
Well, I'm not an expert on this.
Patriarchy.
I'm not an expert. I'm not an expert on it.
I can.
But the, but legally, you can do it for me because I don't want to get the wrong definition for it.
Oh, so patriarchy. Basically, that thinking about it from a sociological standpoint, that is pretty much the way the world, the model of the world. So, like for much of the world is based around the idea of a cis meaning person who was born where, for lack of better wording, their genitals kind of match their traditional gender. So a male, cis male would be a man who has, maybe a penis, or the penis or whatnot. So that's what we call it, cis man. But patriarchy is basically this idea that, or this framework that white cis men, and their content and what they represent. That's the top model. That's the ideal model that all men, all men should attain to be. And
Hmm.
then the way it works is really, weird because it can work, as we know, it works across race, it works across class, it works across genders, it works across sexuality. If you look at all those different communities, and many of us have intersecting identities within those communities, it's still always this idea or the model, through institutions, through systems, just in our everyday life, that the ideal way of life, the ideal way of living, the one who is always right, is the cis white man. Think about even your religion. Like every time you see Jesus, it's always a white man, right? Which is that's a whole
right.
topic for another day. But that's pretty much
Let,
patriarchy is.
let me interrupt you for just a second. Charlotte wrote, to be totally honest, as a hetero woman, I feel some type of way if someone I was dating told me that they had an experience with another man, even if it was just once. But why is that? Why is that, Charlotte? My question to you is that what if the shoe was on the other foot?
Hold on, Jasmine. I think ask the question: would you rather not know, or are you faulting them for knowing and telling you honestly, sharing something? Because wouldn't you want your partner to share everything? Wouldn't you want to
So
know everything about your partner?
Charlotte, if your partner stepped to you and y'all were having confessionals, because everybody has done dirt before, and if you're not with that person anymore, they're gonna do stuff behind after you. So if for instance, if they were in their teens and they were trying to figure out who they are, you still wouldn't want to know that they had at least one experience. It might not have been all the way, it might have been a kiss. That's an experience. That's it's not always just on a sexual tip. It could be something simple as a kiss. So would you not want to know something simple as a kiss? Or I mean, to me, I would feel like that I would want to know, because then I know exactly where that person is coming from. Because, you know, if they experimented and they said, no, this is not for me and this is where I want to be at, then you don't have anything to necessarily worry about. It's just talking about an experience that that person's had. It's just like your very first time having sex. That's an experience. So I guess it's because I know that wouldn't have an experience with another woman, not being judgmental, but just my preference. I understand that we're not. This
That's
is the purpose of
understandable.
tonight. Is that it's a judgment-free conversation, and
Hmm.
I'm enjoying the interaction, so I'm not upset, and I hope you don't take it the wrong way, because I'm not trying to be offensive, also. But I'm just
Hmm.
saying, when so many women say that I want someone to be upfront with me and be honest with me, this, that, and the third. But when a person is being honest with you, then you can't handle the honesty. So sometimes it's easier for a person just to lie to you in order for you to get, to save them and save you the foolishness. Because then there comes the non-trust, there comes the extra that comes along with it.
Can I say something?
Yeah, go ahead.
I think, well, I'll ask this question. Why do you feel that it's like for heterosexual women, more so? Why do you all feel that it's a slap in your face, or that it makes a man less than if he's had a relationship with another man, or when I say relationship, I mean relation, sex, ed, whatever.
Right.
Um, Even if it was just an intimate talking, or because some men have had intimate conversations with other men and nothing has gone down. Like they've shown love and affection to each other, and that was
Hmm.
just it. Like,
My
what if you found out your man was hurting or whatever, and another man, and not just like a father figure setting or anything, but if another man comforted him and they were cuddling, like even if it was just that. But why does it have to be, oh, well, that's not a man, that's not a real man? First, we need to define what a real man is, because a lot of y'all are confused
right. Well, see,
on that. So we need to get that definition out of the way.
then that's where something else that I'm not like. Charlotte has also said, I feel like this. It was just a one-time experience. They shouldn't have to share that information with me. But why wouldn't they?
Yeah.
Why wouldn't they? That's where I'm not understanding where the double standard
So
comes in at. If you
how
want
many
a
times
person to
does it have to
be
be for it not to be an experiment, or just I'm trying to see if this is something right for me type of thing?
Mm.
Because they could have just had a one time
I
relationship with one
I
guy,
feel
and
like
if it
it's
didn't work
more.
with that one guy, then it was just, they only saw themselves messing with that one particular guy, and if that didn't work, that was the end of that.
okay. So Kimmy Brown said, her oldest daughter's father told me that he had experience with a man sucking him off, and at first it was like okay, but she was like, oh, but
my
she
Detail.
thought about it and him being honest with her. Um, hold on, I'm getting lost in my own reading, trying to listen to what Bambi's saying and
Sucking
everything.
him off at the first, I was like, oh, but I thought about him being honest with me, and he said it was just once I was okay with him.
And she also said that was part of his life. But
Hmm.
then Charlotte is saying, "Oh, it doesn't make him less of a man, but I would never feel totally secure in a relationship." But
That's
why?
what
Why
I
is
hear
that?
from a lot of women, though. A lot
I
of
think, I
hetero,
think,
I've heard that from a lot of hetero women. They wouldn't feel secure knowing they man had been with another
But
man.
that's what I'm not
no,
understanding.
I think a
Okay, if
lot of
you're with
women, when
another
they hear
woman,
that,
but if you're with another woman and not a trans woman, you still have an issue. You still have an issue of being insecure in that relationship
but
because
what
you
she's
never was
saying,
taught.
what she's saying about security is when she says that she wouldn't feel secure, she wouldn't feel comfortable. She's thinking that her man is going to always be going behind her back, cheating with another man, and this and that, and
But
that, this and all.
that could work
Because
same
women
both
feel,
ways though.
some women feel like when their man has messed with another man, that they're missing something that the woman can't provide them. So
Okay,
that's
but then
Mhm.
Kimmy
probably
Brown
what
came
she's
back.
saying.
But then Kimmy Brown came right back and she said, "I'm secure in myself, so I was okay with it." So it's not
Right,
actually
because if you know
hurt.
you have, and it's not about even having a good man, but if you know your man, because a man is going to do what he wants to do, whether it's with a man, woman, trans, whatever the case may be,
Exactly.
you have to be secure within your own relationship to know that he's not going to step out, or he's telling you this evidently because he wanted you to know. So one, you don't find out from one of his childhood friends or somebody down the street or whatever, but he's letting you know because he wants you to know all of him. So if a man is comfortable telling you that, then there's nothing else that y'all should not be comfortable to talk about
Mhm.
Right.
within your
So
relationship.
right. So I'm like this. Okay. So if me if me and whoever was sitting and was talking and we're having a conversation and you're in that phase that you're getting to know that person or whatever, and let me pose this question to Kimmy Brown. Since Kimmy is open with it, I'm gonna just call her Miss Brown. Since Miss Brown is open to everything, let me pose this question, Miss Brown. When you're sitting here having a conversation with spouses, husbands, or whatever, because you stated that you've been married to your husband for a very long time. So, with you being married to your husband, is there certain parts of his life before you that you did not want to know about, or is it something that you wanted to know everything about it? Because with most women, not only do they want to know everything, but then they want to tell that other your significant other, you want to tell them everything so there's no secrets. But if you're asking
That's
the person to be
her
honest,
baby daddy, not her
Yeah, I think
husband.
that's a big
but
problem.
if you're asking to be honest, a person to be honest with you, and that person says, "Yes, I've had an experience," or I've had several experiences, just like taking what's his name, Tank, that took and did the whole thing about he didn't care, he liked to have his cakes ate or whatever like that.
Mhm.
Why is it such an outlash whenever
Very
a
sure.
male says, "Okay, this has been my experience. This is what I've gone through to get me to who I am now," but then I'm just gonna um MJ Blige can say, "Okay, so I did XYZ," but there's no record behind it. And I'm not understanding why is it always is a double standards. And it's just like when so many people just want to assume that when you mess with a person of the trans experience, you're automatically gay versus it's an experiment, or you're attracted to who you're attracted, and a lot of times you don't have anything to do with the person what their physical sexuality is. If you're attracted to that person, you're attracted to that person. I'm quiet, you can go.
So going back to the point of why it's okay for men to do or women to do it, but not men, I think kind of what Zyla was saying, it feeds into that patriarchal idea. Because if you think about it, under patriarchy, women and women bodies and just feminine bodies, they are seen as property. So the idea of even two women, having experience and whatever, it's not under patriarchy. It's not even seen as a genuine experience. You know what I mean? It's seen as entertainment. It's seen as entertainment and exploitation for men and their vices. So I think that's again. I think Sally brought up a great point earlier. It's where patriarchy really has a lot of hold in all of these things we're talking about.
Well,
And
then
that's
let me
why, and then that's why,
go ahead, baby.
even with some bisexual women, when they come out, people don't view it as them actually having a true attraction to both sexes because people believe that women only do bisexual acts just to appease men. And that's not the truth because there are lesbians that are only attracted to women, and there are bisexual women that are attracted to women and men.
Mm-hmm.
So
So,
then Kimmy
It's
Brown said
also
that she said to him, "Let's put the cards on the table and then choose to move on with the relationship or not." And I honestly feel the same way. But I also feel like let's be real with
well,
for and then I'm gonna let you speak, cousin Faith, but let's be real. Most of the time, especially back in biblical terms and prior to before the whole modern day art patriarchy was formed, men had sex with other men. They only had sex with women to procreate. Let's be real. And even in a lot of period pieces that you take and watch, husband and wives had separate bedrooms. Their first month or two that they were together when they first got married, they shared the same chamber. After that, it was the chambers and the mistress chambers. She had her quarters and her maids and her servants, and he had his. All his was males, and all hers was females. He would get washed, clean, scrubbed, and everything by his male servants, waited on hand and feet by his male servants. And the same thing for her. All her female servants did it, everything for her. And there was no intertwining. There was no sharing of the bedrooms or anything other than what? Procreation. Now, outside of that, they were not in the same bedrooms together. So why is it all of a sudden it's a big thing now? I'm quiet now, cousin Faith. I'm sorry.
Well, that goes along with people living for a Bible that has been changed throughout the years and then passed down. And then it also goes along with the actual black community.
Yes.
White people can be free to do whatever they want to. It could be a whole white bottom out there and, busting it open every since 20 years ago. But when he wants to get married to a woman, he can do so because he's looked at as more so greater than, he's the provider, all these things, even though a black man can do the same thing, it's frowned upon. I'm not saying that it's not frowned upon in the white community, but we give black men such a hard time with anything. So when it comes down to that, it's just, oh, I don't see him as a man, a real man.
Hmm.
He's not strong enough to provide for my family. He's seen more so as weak. He's tainted. All of these things, all these negative stereotypes that come along with him exploring himself sexually is just not looked at as and viewed the same. And I wanted to say to Kimmy, even when her baby's dad, child's father, whoever, told her that information, how did she take it initially? She sounded like she's fine with it now. But when he initially told you, how did you react? Did he tell you that before y'all had a child or after y'all had a child? That's just stuff that I want to know because it's like, when you first hear stuff, it's like a big blow. Okay, I might need some time to think about this, let this sink in, let me marinate on it type of stuff. So I just wanted to know what she
I
thought about
will
that.
say, I feel like, especially you brought a great point with the black community. I feel like before we were stolen and brought to this land, if you look at pre-colonial times when we was all in Africa chilling, this idea of gender sexuality and these roles wasn't really what it we make it out to be today. I think of a lot of what the black community in terms of dating and how we do our romantic relationships is trauma that is definitely passed down from slavery. Because again, in slavery, we had no control over our bodies, and manhood. This idea of manhood was initially, first off, we was introduced to the colonial white man's manhood. Second, even black men, during the times of slavery, and even after that, their bodies were not respected. Like we hear, I don't know, we hear all the time about, of course, women being raped and all types of things happened to them during slavery. But the thing was true of black men as well. Like I was reading some the other day about how many white slave owners, to fulfill their own homosexual fantasies and to punish black slaves, they would literally rape the black men in front of the family.
And the camps were called, but they was called breaking, bussing the steers, or
Right.
breaking the bulls, or something like that. That's what it was
Right.
called.
And this is trauma that has been passed down after generation. And we're not too far off from slavery. We're not. It was only 50 years ago, some 50 years ago, that the civil rights stuff, bill passed. And that was like it wasn't that long ago before that slavery officially ended. So we're not too far off from all of this at all.
And like I say once and I say it over and over again, it is ignorance that's been taught from one generation to the next.
Mhm.
Because to bring up another point that you were saying, if you take a look at any other culture, even to this day right now, in Samoan, they're called two spirit. A person like myself is called a two spirited person. And they're looked at as shamans. They're looked at as spiritual leaders. They're looked at as advisors. The United States has the worst stigmatization outside of Korea that deals with homosexuality because it was Roman Catholic stuff that's been taught in ignorance to take and bring it down. But then look at how many of the what are the priests that have messed with the altar and choir boys. So I
That's what
mean,
we're in church nowadays.
so to answer
They
your question,
still
Cousin
do.
Faith, Kimmy Brown said that he told me before we had a child, and I was still like wow at first. Then I loved him for who he was, and being man enough to tell me something like that. Well, see, I take my hat off to you, and I respect you for that because first thing most women would say, "Ew, this, that, and the third." That's a woman that's secure in who she is and know what she's dealing with. So that just it just brings me back to
Well, you have
our
to
original
be.
statement again. Why is it a double standard? But if you say you want a person to be real with you, and a person is
Well,
being real with you, but then you don't want to hear what they got to say.
because a lot of people, even though she was secure in who she was, you still have to have a certain level of maturity, and a lot of people don't have the
Right.
level of maturity to deal with something like that. And it's a lot of women. Oh, I don't need a man or this and that and da 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 da. Because and there's nothing wrong with being self-sufficient, independent, all of those things. But you don't if you don't have maturity along to go along with that.
But that's the same thing. If y'all think about it, that's the same thing as like with royalty. Royalty doesn't classify herself as male or female. She's more or less she's gender non-binary also. But she also likes to date men, and she likes to give and receive. She's basically a versatile girl. So hey baby. So with
Hey y'all.
Hey,
they said
Hey,
hey.
you.
Hey, nephew.
So with that being said, she's secure in who royalty is. And I wish that so many people would be secure like royalty is, but there's so many stigmatizations that go along with that because royalty knows what royalty wants, and royalty goes after what royalty wants, but then there's still a stigmatization that's put onto that. You see what I'm saying? It's
I
Hmm.
just
wish
like you can mark
people
like if she
were
was a gay man too. You know what I'm saying?
I wish people were open and honest as she was, because I'm like that as well. When I meet somebody, unless I'm not feeling you, I'm not telling you my business, or you may know my business, or you may think that you know my business. But unless I'm not feeling you, pretty much 9 times out of 10, if I'm feeling you and we dating or we talking or whatever, I'm gonna let you know X, Y, and Z. This is what I like. This is what I don't like. I put all that on the table because I'm not about to sit up here and if and when I do date, it's for a reason. I'm not dating just to date you. If I'm dating, it's to get into something serious. That's why I've never been in something serious, because a lot of people can't take me, one, and then two, I don't put up with bullshit. So
That
all of that playing games and all of that, I'm not for all of that.
So you're absolutely right, Charlotte. But when you ask a person to be, and this is just in general, it's not directed towards you, Charlotte. So please don't take it as that. But when a person asks a person to be open and honest with them, and they're being open and honest with them, if that person is allowing you into a place, especially if you've been together 4 or 5 years and you've never really had a serious in-depth conversation with this person, and y'all are either moving marrying or getting married, or y'all on y'all second kid, why is it all of a sudden now that you see this person as less than because they're being open and honest with you? Hey, back in 1987, I experimented with somebody, but this is 20 damn years later. I don't understand.
But I don't agree with that because I think if you're gonna have that conversation, either take that shit to your grave. But if you're gonna have it, then you need to have that conversation early on. Don't have that conversation when you done got her pregnant. Don't have that
But
conversation
if you,
after y'all done got married. Don't
but
have
you
the
gotta
conversation
understand though
years
the
later.
stereotype that goes along with that. If the
If
person,
you don't no,
like,
but if you don't have a comfort level to tell them in the beginning, when stuff is fresh, I'll give you, first 6 months or whatever, they're still new, whatever. But don't have it 6 years later. What you gonna tell them 6 years later for? You should if you weren't gonna tell them within the first 6 months or whenever when y'all was getting to know each other, you knew it was going somewhere. Don't tell me that 6 years later. I don't want to know 6 years later that you didn't kill somebody, and there might be a chance that I could go to jail for harboring a
No,
fugitive.
Oh,
Girl, I don't want to
Lord.
know that. Mm-mm.
she
you
said
know,
she gotta
How
go
we
to.
go from how we go to
it's
murder,
so
I said
bro?
I
sad.
don't know.
All
Because
right,
I don't want
y'all.
to know none of it.
All right, y'all. We're finna go to a little mini commercial break,
This
and
child said
be right.
murder, girl.
We'll be right back after this, y'all. Um, Jesus, take the wheel
Why it's always my comments that send us into commercial, girl?
because you be taking me out,
Cause you a mess.
out, baby.
Girl, who was that?
Save on.
Oh,
Girl,
I thought that was a gentleman call. Like, girl,
That's how I said it's the cube steak for me.
I can't with her.
But so I don't even know where to go with this anymore because I feel like we're beating a dead horse. That's what I feel like.
What you mean being a deal?
I just feel like that.
She just want us to go in circles.
I
That's
feel
what
like
they're saying.
we're going to go in a circle because we're trying. We can't justify for every person that every person is completely different on the way that they take and they handle different
Mm.
things. But I also feel like that a rule of thumb, if you say that you want a person to be honest with you and a person's honest with you, and if you do need time to take and to think about what it is that you need or the time that you need to take to process it, you should be able to handle if a person's being real with you about whatever the subject it is that it is. That's even going down to a person saying, "Oh, well, I used to be a crackhead."
Ask Breezy or Miss Charlotte or Royalty. Did one of y'all want to come in?
You just said it.
Well, you never dropped the link. I was just asking if they wanted to come in because it's like kind of pointless going back and forth and trying to read the comments and all of that after we done moved on.
Do you want me to post the link in there, Jazz?
Miss Kimmy Brown, Charlotte, or Royalty. Do any of y'all want to come in?
Girl, we trying to make it ladies' night, girl. Y'all want to come in here?
I would if I was
Just
stressed.
kidding. Yes,
You don't have to come on camera. If
You
you
can
want
Who
stay
to,
off,
said
you don't
that?
have to
stay
be
off
on camera.
camera, Charlotte.
Girl, Miss Charlotte said she at the house, honey. She ain't got on her house coat.
girl.
Girl, she
I'm
said I'm living loud and free, honey.
Right.
Girl, if they only knew how fast I get out of drag as soon as I get off the camera.
gonna be in a bonnet and my nightgown and 5 minutes.
Girl,
Right.
we ain't talking about that body tonight, girl.
I disrobe,
You
baby.
gonna be my bonnet alone
Here,
though.
here this
If
hoe,
you had
girl.
hair, you would understand.
She said bonnet on my head. My phone sucks. I have noise. That's what royalty said.
Oh, dude. But Charlotte, you don't have to turn your camera on up. We can just hear you from your voice.
Yeah, they give you the option when you click on the link to turn your camera off before you even come in.
Mm-hmm.
You can just leave your microphone on.
Like so.
I'm just gonna put it there just in case.
But if you don't want to, we understand. We was just trying to
Yeah,
give, an
the
opportunity.
female perspective, and
But I will say, as somebody that is bi, I always tell first, just so I ain't got to deal with it at the end of it all, girl. Because I be like, girl, you going up from the
you know
front,
what?
so I ain't got to say shit.
Kimmy
Because
Brown
I'm
said
not.
my hair is not right, and I don't want Savon to read me.
Oh,
You say off the camera.
But that goes along with even bisexual people have to tell, even though you're messing with the same sex, it's still important that you tell the same sex because it's a
yeah.
lot of times that I have been involved with bisexual guys and didn't know.
Not
Not that
you.
it made a difference for me. Shut
Not
up.
you.
But
Keep going, Leah.
whether they were married girlfriends, baby mamas, all of the things, girl, they don't tell you. But I'm not talking about hookups. I'm talking about actually like talking to somebody. Um,
Mm-hmm.
it's still important that you tell because a lot of times, just because a man has messed with another man, you just assume that he's gay,
No, but that's why I
and
say
you
I
don't
always
really,
tell no matter what. It don't
yeah,
matter
you
who.
don't really consider that no matter how masculine or feminine that he is, you would just assume, oh, he like me, he here for me. Okay, you just assume that he's
Mm-hmm.
gay. Like
Yeah.
then you find out because I had
Mhm.
a homeboy like that. One of my homeboys, we was in the military together, and Father's Day come around, he was like, "Oh, I need to call my child." Now I'm thinking he got a gay child. I'm like, and here go me. We in a group full of people. I was like, "Oh, you got a gay child?" Girl, everybody, because they were on a different base. I was stationed in San Diego. They were stationed in 29 Palm. So a lot of them came down to see me from 29 Palm. So it was just like everybody already knew that he had a real child except me. So I was like, I'm the only one in the group that didn't know. I was like, "Oh, you got a gay child?" He
And you
was
know,
like,
baby,
"No,
forever.
bitch, I have a real son." I was like, "Oh, girl." So I just went and sit my seat by myself. Girl, I was like, "Oh, excuse me."
After you did all that, girl, yes, you
Right,
see,
right.
see,
Because
that's
you
that's
know,
that's
baby,
that's behavior
baby
right
was
But
there.
all
I
about
didn't,
it.
I didn't like, I didn't know his past life because he was one of my friends that I met through another friend. So I didn't know his past life. I just assumed, girl, we all queens, girl. Unless I'm thinking like,
See how the girls do you?
Right,
Put your tea all out there.
right. Hey, Miss
I was
Charlotte.
like, oh, that's what I was saying. Hey,
Hey,
how are
How you
you?
doing?
I'm fine. Y'all can't see me, can you?
No, we
No,
can.
ma'am.
You good and fine.
Good.
You just a little white, the white dot right there.
Okay, that's good.
How you doing tonight?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good.
It's nice to hear from you. We just wanted to get you in here so we wouldn't have to keep going back and forth on the comments.
Okay, yeah, that's
Cause
fine.
Bambi lazy.
Okay,
I'm not lazy, honey, but it's already a 10-second delay on the
unless
comments,
they
girl.
have
And
some
then when
little
we done moved on, because Jasmine
Jiffy
like
bread
to
or patty pack going to her mouth, girl. So
jump
she
three
lazy.
three topics and then go to the comments.
Here she go.
But anyway, that's neither here nor there. We're Lovely to have you on tonight.
Well, I'm glad to finally be on with y'all as well.
We're glad to have you.
Oh
So, Miss
yeah.
Shauna, what is your perspective of the situation?
Okay, and I guess I was gonna type this, but it would have been too much to type, so I'm glad I did come in.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess because I'm older than all of y'all,
Right.
and I guess because I am older, I look at it a little differently now. I am not being judgmental. I don't judge people for being who they are, for liking what
Hold
they
on.
like.
Let me stop you right there.
Okay.
If you were on Jasmine's channel, I wouldn't think for one second that you were judgmental. You've been
Okay. All right.
a
Right.
loyal fan, so we don't need to go through all that. We
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
know.
Okay. I just wanted to put that
we're
out
not gonna
there.
we're not gonna be offended by anything you say if you're just speaking your mind.
Okay.
That's not even. We're not on here to bash or make anybody feel less than or demean anybody. So I already know that you're not that. You don't have that type of spirit since you've been with us so long. I don't even feel that on you. So you can just go ahead and
Thank
speak
you.
freely, honey.
Amen. That's
Okay. And
good.
And
I
you had
Amen.
guess
finally grew up.
that to answer the
I respect
question,
my elders. Thank you.
I'll just put, now I'm not that old now. I'm
No.
older, but not that old.
Right,
She
Miss
said,
Nothing,
"Don't
Charlotte.
get it
nothing.
Right,
twisted."
Miss Charlotte Dreadhead.
See how baby is, girl. See,
Right.
see,
Like,
you got to
She
catch
said, "Don't get
up.
it twisted."
But I guess if I just, let me say, I'll just put myself in a situation, although I've never been in this situation. Let's
Mm-hmm.
say I was dating a guy and, we had, I guess, kind of recently met. We've gone
Mm-hmm.
out a few times. One night he says, well, I want to be honest with you. In my past, I've had relationships with men. I would be shocked. Not judging him, not
Mm-hmm.
saying what he did was wrong in any way, but I would be thinking if he's been attracted to men in the past, I'm going to be thinking, well, why what's going to keep him from, going there again and or still being attracted to men? Why does he want me?
So, Miss
But
Charlotte, let me ask you this. So, what if he says to you that he's had a one-time experiment? He experienced it once and he's never done it again.
and that's why I said if that was the case, I would prefer he not even share that with me.
Well,
Because unless I don't know, because if we're just starting to date, I don't feel that we're at a place where we need to be telling each other everything that we've done. Now, if we've gotten to the point where we're talking marriage or even maybe being serious or moving in, that would be the time. But if we're just casually dating and it was something that happened years ago and it was just a one time thing, I don't feel that he needs to share that with me.
I do agree with you with um, some of what you just said. I just, for me, if you're gonna start sharing secrets, because if you're talking about moving in, then that means that you've already passed getting to know you. I'm here for you. We're getting, you're getting serious. At this point, you're already serious. If you're talking about moving in, I think for me, I think it should be revealed when you know that it's going somewhere, when you think it's getting serious in that stage. So you're
Okay.
not even, so if you, so, and I only say that because you don't want your feelings to get into it. And then you're already starting to, or if you haven't already, excuse me, started falling in love and all of that, you want to put all of that out there before love and feelings. I mean, even in the beginning, you're going to have feelings for the person, whether they're strong or not, but you feel something growing. even in the beginning, they might not be strong, but they're there. And what's wrong?
Well, now I'll also say this:
What's
if
wrong?
if the roles were reversed, let's say I had previously been in a relationship with a woman, and it was something that was just, in the past, way in the past, had never
Mm.
happened again. I wouldn't feel the need to share that with him. I
You
really
mean like a
wouldn't,
high school or college experience?
Yeah, or maybe not even that far back, maybe as an adult.
My God, today,
And
come
it
on,
was
Miss
a
Charlotte.
one time, if it was a one time thing, and it was just me experimenting, or maybe I had been out drinking with the girls and, got a little loose that night.
Come on, loose.
She said loose.
I mean, I wouldn't feel the need to tell him. That's none of his
I get that.
business.
Okay,
I get
but
That
would
that.
it make a
happened
difference?
years ago. That doesn't have anything to do with you. And it's not because I would think he would think differently of me. It's just that's none of his business. He wasn't a part of
Right,
that.
So what
right.
if it
So
was the
would it
other
make
way around and he got let loose with the fellas and
wait?
then
But before you go there, what if would it make a difference if you were still friends with that woman,
mm,
Mm.
Mm.
not a plot
and
twist.
that woman was going to be around, like they could have been not one of your best friends, but a very close friend?
Come on, Ben, before the
Okay,
Ebony
and
had a
this,
question.
okay, now she and I are still friends. She and I are still close, and
But it never happened again. But you all do hang out from time to
this
time,
relationship with this guy is going somewhere. That's what
right?
I'm saying. Okay, honestly, I would tell her, you better not tell him what happened.
Miss Charlotte said, I'll be trying to put my tea out there.
Woo!
And that's just being honest. That's what I would do, girl.
She gonna get it right together,
You
girl.
better not tell him. And honestly, I'm just being honest. That's what I would do.
Well,
Girl,
I have been in
she's
situations
starting to
like
sound like trade now. Ain't
no, I have
Right.
been in situations like that somewhat where I've been with men and we were friends and then we were no more, but then they brought their girlfriends around me and shit, and I'm like, I mean, I was definitely gonna tell like I ain't involved in that shit, but
it?
I
Well,
can, that's between
I've been
you
in
and
that situation as well, and that's not my place. I'm like, girl.
right,
Now, what
right.
I'm not gonna do is sit up here and be your friend either, and how you would know something. I'm not gonna tell you that you would know something would happen. I'll be cordial to you, but I'm not gonna give you more than that. It's like if I see you and I know me and
That's
him have had
rude.
something in the no, that's not being rude, but that's
That
not.
is being
I'm not
rude.
gonna be in your face and I've messed with your man and you don't know about it.
I agree with that.
I'm
But
not that type of
then,
girl either.
so Betty, with that in that situation, I've inadvertently kind of have become like not best friends, like not with like the Jew, but I have become friends with a girl, but not in the same way. But it's like it was because I would prefer not to even be friends with her. Like, no, let's just keep it cool, like whatever. But inadvertently,
I'll be
because
cordial, I'll speak, but I'm not gonna give you. It's just gonna be
oh
that.
yeah,
Hey,
I
girl,
ain't
how you
gonna do
going
that.
into the moving?
To me, I wouldn't
It's
even
not
want
gonna. It's not gonna be more than that.
like let's move it around because I already know how that dynamic is and all the other stuff, and then that
You
doesn't
just gonna be wondering, damn, why JT don't like me, girl? Why?
not
It's not
even
that I don't like you. I just don't
I
have
still
time for it.
end up getting treated like the girlfriend. So it's like I just rather not be in the situation at all.
Girl, that's your man. You got it. You
Let's be
won,
clear.
girl.
Let's be
Have
clear.
fun.
Sometimes you can't help what situations you get put into. Say,
That's
for
Right.
what I'm
instance,
trying
if
to
you
say.
met that person, if you met the friend, the dude on a dating site or something like that, you don't know him from a can of paint. But then your homegirl all of a sudden pops up one day. It's like, oh, I'm dating this new dude, this, that, and the third. And then he take a turn around, and this old boy, you like, huh?
Right. Y'all remember that story I told about the dude? I went
Uh,
to go pick
not
him up from
exactly.
his baby mama house, and he was trying to make me
Yeah.
meet his baby mama.
Yes, I remember
Sometimes
No,
that.
girl. No, girl.
I take this
And
little.
she was standing outside with him.
See,
Um,
No, girl. So, like I said, in that
I
situation,
don't know why
I
men
already
do
told you. I already told you I didn't want to meet her, even though she knew the situation and what was going on. He didn't tell her the full situation. He just told her that I was picking him up for work, but she knew that he was bisexual. But that's still not my business, whether she want to meet me or not. When I pull up, and I had already
Well,
told
that's
you I
why
didn't
she
want to
wanted
meet
to meet
her.
you, honey.
So when they were standing outside, I pulled up to the next house,
who
and
was
I
I
texted him. I
talking
was like,
to?
"Come get in the car."
Who was I talking to? I was talking to somebody today. It was either today or yesterday. Why is it that the girls always want to have a trans or a gay friend around to tell if a dude is gay or not? What makes you think I'm going to put that person's business out there?
Well, no shade, but some of the girls like to do that, girl.
It's called they try to assess us, girl.
Well, they
I'm
want
not the
to
person.
they want to be in touch with their what is it their not gay intuition. What is it called? Like when you clock
Gaydar.
somebody. Gaydar, thank you.
Gaydar.
Come
Right.
on,
Come
Miss
on, Miss
Charlotte. Come on,
Charlotte.
Miss Charlotte.
Oh,
Come on, Miss
Okay,
Charlotte.
baby, she own it.
Come on.
Come
they
on, Miss
want to they want to be in tune with their gaydar. I was girl.
That's no. I'm never
I
going to
had
be
I had
into
a doctor. I had a doctor questioning me. I didn't know her husband worked in the same department.
Mm-mm.
oh, here we
That's
go.
God
messy
to
as
say.
hell.
Here we go.
I need to
She
know.
didn't. No, no. She just out of nowhere. She just she spoke. Hey, hey. We just noticed each other was friendly, so we just kept talking to each other. She was like, "Can I ask you a question?" I was like, "Yeah." So we just talking. She was like, "I have a friend that he does X, Y, and Z and this and that and da 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 and da 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 da." So I'm just talking to her freely, like when she said she had a friend, I was like, "Okay, cool, whatever." And then she was like, "Well, actually, their friend is my husband," and I saw him walk past. She was like, "Remember that guy with the bald head or whatever that walked past?" I was like, "Yeah." Excuse me. She was like, "That was my husband," and she was like, "I just wanted to know what you thought of the situation because you look like a cool person, and I just really wanted to know
Girl,
some things."
but that's something that they
So
swingers, girl. That's a swinger thing.
she already had a feeling that he was doing stuff, and then she just wanted my opinion
Uh,
of what was going on. So when I gave her my opinion, it was leading towards the feeling that she already had.
That's good.
So she was just kind of basically confirming what she already had in her head or what she knew already.
Yeah, but I
I
still feel
don't
like
like
it's not our
situations.
place to take and get put in between something like that because then the first thing they're gonna say,
I didn't know I was being.
I know, but I'm just saying in general, I don't feel like that it's a
That's your
place
gay
for
cat.
me to be like, okay, da 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 da, and whoop de woo or whatever. Especially, I'm just not knowing this bitch. See, you done broke cardinal rule number one. I don't know that hoe like that, so why am
Right.
I gonna take and
Well,
put
I've
her up on
seen
game
her
on like
a
that?
few times before,
I don't
but it
care.
was always friendly.
Mm-mm.
There's
Trifling.
only one
There's
girl.
too, because there's too much
Look, you
stuff going.
trifling. I'm gonna
There's
have to.
too.
I'm
There's
gonna have to put you on off
But
the screen. You trifling,
how is that trifling? If you're married and your husband is cheating on you, regardless, he trifling regardless of what I say. I don't
girl.
care if
no,
he
not
cheated with a man or a woman. He's still trifling for going outside of what he walked her down the aisle for.
Well, what he
He's
walked out,
trifling.
girl.
I'm not trifling for confirming it.
Well, what you call it?
She had women's intuition and she needed some confirmation of
I
what
just
she
look at him.
had.
I don't know, girl.
So you need
out of
some
my life.
confirmation?
And that's like you,
Hmm?
Judy, and I only got one of those. So
And then it's like it's crossing the lines anyway because she was your physician at that time, right?
right,
Or was she your friend that happens to be a physician?
Uh,
he can't
See,
tell.
it's too murky.
well, she wasn't the. What was she? She was a tech. Um, I don't know, but she wasn't my doctor, no. But she was in the medical field. But at the same time, that's why she said she asked me. She didn't just start talking to me about this. She just said, when she walked up, she was kind of talking kind of low or whatever. She was like, "Do you mind if I ask you a question. It's nothing to do with anything medical or whatever. She was just like, it's just a personal question that I have. I was like, yeah, go ahead. And we just started a conversation because that's why I said, I don't know if I told y'all this before, but with me, I don't know what it is, but certain people will come up to me and tell me their life story. I
Yeah,
could
we
know
know
them
your
from out
grandma.
of nowhere.
We know
I
your
could know
grandma.
them.
We know Grandma.
I could know
Right.
them from out of nowhere, and people will just feel comfortable talking to me. I don't,
Royalty
and it's
said,
always it's been like that since I was
Well,
younger, and I don't
baby,
know why.
Royalty
but
said that
baby,
was
you
his
have,
ex.
but baby, the thing is, you have maternal energy to you, though. So that's why
But a lot
people
of people
feel.
say when a lot of people look at me, they be like, "Oh, I guess I get
Let's go
resting bitch
look
face
back
or
at it.
whatever," because they'll look at me and be like, "Oh, she's rude," or "Dang." Until they start talking to me, they be like, "Oh, I thought you was rude when I first saw you."
Well,
Well,
you
I'm
was
like,
babe,
young.
why?
you
Well,
have a
because
resting.
I mean, you rude, but
when
you
I'm smiling, and when people don't see me smiling, they be like, "Oh, dang, you're mean." I'm
hey,
like,
you
"No,
heard
what
that
am I
he said
smiling
he
for?"
ain't rude. He really trying
Girl,
to put.
I'm paying y'all no attention, girl. I'm sitting over here looking at look back at it, Shaquansha girl.
How about inches?
Right.
Hey, my
Girl,
shit is
she
up,
trying to
yo.
she trying to
Hold
prove
on.
she trying to prove that she got 26 inches, girl.
Because you said anyone who's
Okay.
22 is less is bald headed, bitch. We all just out here
But
struggling.
see, those situations, I don't like that. And the reason why I don't like that is because it can always backfire on your ass.
Right.
That's why I don't like shit like that. Because that's another
What's in
thing.
backfire?
Ooh, yeah.
Like you telling them something, right? And somehow the man finds out that you pretty much outed him and he comes after you, or something, or she talks to the man and he lies to her face and then comes back to you and then has a problem with you for no damn reason.
That's not one.
I'm not saying
I'm
that's
not
for you. I'm not
bothered by
I'm
that.
saying that in, I'm
But
not saying I'm saying
no.
that in general, not in your situation. In
She if
general.
she came to me about it, she's probably already talked to her other gay friends about it. So
But how
she's
you
just
know she has
confirming
other
with
good friends?
somebody. She's not
There's nothing wrong with the mess of
for
it.
her to be a doctor, she's not gonna just come up to me out of nowhere and be like, "Well, girl, I've been thinking about this," because the way she was talking about it has already been on her mind. She's probably discussed it with her girlfriends, or if she didn't want her girlfriends to know, she probably discussed it with her gay friends. Because you can tell when a woman has gay friends.
I get what you're saying, and I'm not. All I'm saying is this: I don't feel like it's I don't feel like it's our time or our place to take and necessarily put anybody's tea out there. It's just like, for instance, if you hold on, let me finish saying what I'm saying. If I'm walking down, if I'm walking through the mall and a trade piece or two trade pieces, I don't walk past them. I'm not gonna be like, "What's up, Daryl?" or "What's up, EJ?" Oh, so now you can't speak. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, I don't feel like that's my place to take in to do that. I mean, we're gonna nod our head, we're gonna nod our head. But if it ain't, if they're not making the first move, I would just say it like that. I'm not one of them type of people to take and put people
Out there.
on Front Street. And let's be clear. I want to be totally clear. I'm very passable. I do not get clocked at all. I'm very passable, whether in face or out of face. I'm very passable. It's not that point. The point of the matter is that I'm not going to take and put somebody out there that I don't feel. You know what I'm saying? I mean, maybe I'm looking at it wrong, but I just don't feel like that's. I don't feel like I don't feel like in that situation. I understand why you did it, but I don't feel like if I was in that situation, I'm not gonna confirm something for her. That's just something that she that's gonna have to eat away at her. That was just me.
I didn't tell the man business. She asked me a
You
question.
didn't. I'm not saying,
She
and
gave me
nobody's
a
saying that you
scenario, and
didn't.
I told her whatever she
Nobody's
asked me
saying
about
that
the
you did. But what I'm
scenario.
saying though
I
is,
didn't put
I'm
the
not
man
gonna.
business out there. I didn't know her husband. I didn't know what one. I didn't know she was asking me about her husband. So two, that was already where she came to me on some wrong stuff. But when I said what I said, it did confirm what she was already thinking because she gave me a scenario, and I told her she gave me it was like a yes or no. She was like, "Well, um, my friend, da 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 da, he does this a lot and he does this a lot, do you think such and such and such and such? And all I said was, yeah, they kind of is kind of suspect or whatever. And she was like, okay, that's what I was thinking. I didn't tell her no extra information. It was basically like a yes or no question. So it was just confirming what she had already thought about her own husband.
I just still feel like that
Hmm.
still wasn't my place to take in to confirm it or did or not confirm, especially if it's not like a friend.
Well, if she
If it's
came
just
to me
a
on some positive
roundabout
vibes, she was
person.
just
But if it's just a roundabout person, I don't feel like that I owe that person an explanation to be real and honest with them because I mean she could be setting up and maybe trying to go out and kill the next person that you never know with a person like that. So I get what you're saying, and she was already thinking it or whatever, but I'm still not gonna confirm it. That's just me. That's just the way I think. Like, girl, if that's what you maybe you need to have that conversation with him. If that's such a good friend of yours, you can have
well.
that conversation with him.
Had I known what she was really talking about, I would have actually told her that. But the way that she went about doing it, I didn't have the
I
option
get
to
it,
tell
but
her that.
that's even to every day with people every day. Like it's just like asking for a phone number.
Because I'm
Okay, if
still
that
gonna
person wants you to have
confirm.
that phone number, you need to talk to that person. That's not something that I'm gonna take and give to you. Or do if you want an Instagram or do you want a Facebook, that's not my business to take and hand to you. Well, you know such and such. I
But that's
do
not the
that.
same
You need to
thing.
go talk to him. But
What
it's
was
very
the
similar.
what was the scenario? I know I'm just not coming in on this, but what was the scenario? Because I think I know what Bambi's trying to say.
The
What was the
scenario is
question?
basically is that Bambi was at a doctor's appointment one day, and
Mhm.
one of the doctors that he had seen several times in the clinic or whatever came up here and they
Mhm.
were having a
You
conversation.
know, she had been friendly. We would always, speak in passing, or whatever. Just
But
because,
that's what I'm saying.
when somebody smiles, you can tell somebody's nice. 'Cause a lot of doctors and stuff won't talk if you're not their patient or whatever. You see them
Yep.
walking in the hall or whatever, they'll look the
Uh
other
huh.
way.
Mhm.
All of that.
So
So she was just a real friendly face. So she was in the room with me, and then she just was like talking. She walked past and she saw me, so she came in. So while I was waiting on my doctor to come in. So she
Mhm.
was like, "Hey, how you doing?" Or whatever. I was like, "Okay." She was like, "I always see you this and that." And da, da, da. She just started talking. She was like, do you mind if I ask you a question? It's non-medical related or anything." She was like, "It's just a personal question." I said, "Oh, that's fine. Go
Oh.
ahead." So
Okay.
she gave me a scenario. She was like, "Oh, I have a friend that da 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 does X, Y, and Z and this and that and da 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 whatever." And she was like, "Do you think that this is?" I forgot how she worded it, but it was somehow questionable, suspect, somewhere in that field. And I just said, from what you just told me, I was like, yeah, to be honest. And she was like, oh, okay. So while we were talking, her husband walked by.
Mhm.
So she told me after I had already answered the question, she was like, oh, well, you saw that guy that walked by, the bald head guy, whatever he had on. He had on scrubs too. So she
Mhm.
was like, I said, yeah. She was like, well, that's my husband, and that's who I was actually talking about. So I looked at her.
Oh.
I said, "Oh, right." I said, "Oh, okay." She was like, "Yeah, but it's nothing." She was like, "You just kind of confirmed what I was already thinking, and this and that, I will whatever."
So to be fair,
So
in that situation, um, I just feel like because you didn't really know her, right? Um, you gave an answer that I probably if so let's say some people say, bitch, if a dude do so and so, then he's automatically a bottom. That's like somebody asks you if he do this, that does that mean he's the bottom? And we've had conversation on this show like, girl, yeah, he a big old bottom, girl. He's a blouse and this and other. We just had that discussion, right? But
right.
we don't know
y'all
who
say
the
that. I
we
don't
don't
say that.
we well, not you specifically, but I'm just saying we collaboratively. Um, but if we take that rule that hey, we shouldn't say anything because that could be personal, then we have to apply that to every scenario, even when we don't know the person. Or we have to be brutally honest in every scenario to even we do know the person. So whatever Bambi's response is should have been the same response whether he knew the person or not, if you being honest. Now, if it's a situation where
When I
the
clock somebody
girl,
on their sexual position, I don't. It's personal to some people. Some people kind of hide that because
no, no,
some
no. I'm
people, a lot
talking
of
about
people
if they
get bottom
ask,
shamed.
but I'm talking about if they're asking you a question. like an open-ended question. Well, girl, do you think? Okay, so my man, he likes for me to stick point blank. He likes for me to stick his finger up his booty. Does that mean he gay? I'm gonna say, well,
No,
girl, I don't think so at all. You know what I'm saying? He may like
no,
so and so, but it may be phasing a question of, well, girl, do you think a man who get a finger stuck in a certain place is gay? She may not tell me
no.
that she's talking or asking that question about her husband, but my response should be the same. Well, girl, I don't think that. Or girl, if you do think that, well, girl, I do think that. Oh, okay, I was just asking. That's my husband. You can actually say, okay, well, girl, you need to talk to him about it, but your answer should not change if that's how you feel.
My answer didn't change.
No, I didn't. I didn't say that it was. I didn't say your answer was changed. I think Jasmine was saying since it's personal, it's a personal subject. You should probably say, well, girl, talk to that person. You can't always say that if you don't know if they're, who they're talking about, and they're just asking you an open question. That's what I'm saying. So I don't feel like your response was wrong. I feel like your
Yeah, she
response should
didn't.
have been the response, whether it was a friend or not, if it's off the scenario that I'm thinking.
Right, and that's what I gave her. It was basically a yes or no question. How she set it up and worded it. She was like, "Do you think X, Y, and Z because of X, Y, and Z?" And I was like, "Yeah, just based off of what you just told me." I was like, "Yeah, I do," and I
Right
left it
now,
at that.
although to Jasmine's point, it is sensitive, that is touchy. But then, girl, my response to old girl, she was, well, that's my man, blah blah blah. Well, girl, you shouldn't have asked me that question. You
And then
obviously thought of
that's why I was telling Jasmine. I was like, "Well, I'm pretty sure I'm not the first person that she asked. If she was comfortable to ask to me, I'm pretty sure she either has already talked to one of her other gay friends or,
or
something. It was
not,
just on
but she
her
don't want her
heart.
gay friends to know. It's easier to ask a stranger.
It is, but I'm saying I'm not the first. I could tell I'm not the first person that she asked. One,
Oh yeah,
it's a vibe. Like I'm very
yep.
good at reading certain
Also,
people,
but the whole thing
and
that
it was just a vibe. Like
I feel where you're coming from, and I'm not downing, but my whole scenario was this with the whole situation. You, a lot of times, to get back to where we were with the whole thing, because I'm glad you brought it up, but to get back to tie everything up. Okay,
Mhm.
so the assumption and the ignorance has been taught from one thing to the next. And that's another form of assumptions, just to assume that a person, because of the mannerisms a person may have, the actions that a
Mhm.
person may take and do, that's the same thing as assuming a person is, even with, everyone on the panel. People have
Mhm.
assumed one thing or the other without even trying to even get to know them, to get to talk to them or whatever. And what I was
Yeah.
trying to do is I was like, something that a wise person told me that's on this panel is that your sexuality is like your HMO plan. It's not something to be
Mhm.
feared unless you
girl,
absolutely.
just say Savon.
It probably wasn't me though. I'm not the only wise one on this channel. See, it was the shade for me.
Right,
He just
girl.
called the rest of y'all hoes dumb.
Right. She trying to say that we ain't got no value on this show except for say line, girl.
Dear
He
Ranta.
just called y'all dumb, basically.
Girl, as soon as she
He
said
just called y'all.
HMO,
I don't.
girl.
I don't. It wasn't me.
But
As soon as she said HMO, girl.
at any rate, it's simple as this though. If you taking we ask some personal questions like that, I don't feel like that I'm owed a response or I should give you a response, especially if
Mhm.
we're not cool.
Mhm.
You never know what that person's next thought is, because even if, say for instance, this is what I was getting at when I was trying to make my point. Say for instance, if the dude that she was talking about, she didn't know who that dude was, and she may be saying that it was her husband, and but not, it may not have been her husband. What if from that point on she started teasing and taunting him? There is a such thing as, yourself, it's workplace bullying. So that's what I'm taking a look at. I'm not looking at it from, okay, we just cool, and if we were sister girls and we having a good conversation, that's something different. But I don't know her from a can of paint, and you've known her by bypassing and maybe seeing her, in the doctor's office and different things like that, and she's a medical profession. But people are still vindictive and nasty towards people just because they found out something they might have thought. Especially,
I
and I hate
mean,
to
you
say it like
you
this,
got a point.
especially for women. Women can be some of the most vindictive, nastiest things because if women
Ooh.
women in general are territorial. So if that person was going after something that she wanted, She's trying to find all as many ammos that she can to take and shoot that gun and say, "Well, I know," and all. You know what I'm saying? I mean, come on, let's be
I
real.
mean, okay, so you're right. You're both right.
And I'm
But
not
we
saying
don't
that it was
always.
wrong, but I'm just saying
Yeah,
that for
yeah.
me, I would not have answered that because I'm not trying to give a person ammo to take and injure somebody else because I've been there, done that. Is what I'm saying. I'm looking at it from a different
But
aspect of it.
I'm sure you've done it and not really known that you've done it. You get what I'm saying? Yeah,
Absolutely
because
right.
we don't always. I mean, as both of you guys have a point of view, but we're not always in our space constantly with everything that we say. We're not always taking it to the nth degree with what if this person is doing. Sometimes we just answer because it's just a question. You know what I'm saying? It's like saying if that car is ugly. Well, yeah, girl, it's ugly. Okay, but she can go out and bully that person because that person's car is ugly. You didn't mean to do that. You just answered a
Absolutely.
question. Yeah,
Absolutely. And I
but
agree with
you're
you
right.
100%.
We don't know people's fucking intentions behind those questions. And my thing with her is, now even aside of everything that y'all just said, if that's her husband, girl, and I'm pretty sure whatever she asked, because Bambi didn't tell us the question, but we gonna do like he just did you. It was obviously something with him being gay because she knew his ass
Mm.
was in there. His gay ass was sitting right there. So he was like,
I
"Let
didn't.
me
I
ask
don't
you."
remember the whole scenario. That's why I was like, girl, just X, Y, and Z. That's why I was
I'm sure it
because
was
I don't
something gay,
remember.
girl.
I don't remember how she it was, but I don't remember how she worded it. That's why I was like, I'm not even up to
What's up,
guess
Yeah,
and
Miss
all
Big
that.
Hattie Leslie?
yeah. But see, at that point though, I could spin that and be like, so, bitch, so you thought? I mean, how you know I was gay? I could just be an effeminate straight man, or I could just be very versatile, well,
Right.
straight man. Like
That's
she took a
that's what I was
she
gonna say
see.
as
So
well.
for me in that instance, if I were Bambi, like I would have made her, even though she was cool and she was nice, I would have clocked in Shaquansha and I would have acted like, I mean, girl, how would I know?
Right.
And
That's and that
look
that's what saved
in
my
that gay ass in a gay ass voice. I mean, girl, why would I know?
Right.
Bitch,
saved my
your
ass.
Right.
purse didn't fill out.
That's where I was coming from where I was coming from as well.
Y'all
I
are
agree with
digging too deep.
We're
It's
not
not.
digging too deep.
no
It's
we're not.
We're just
Y'all are.
what we're doing. No. I think you're taking it too personal. We're
I'm
not
not.
digging too deep. We're not digging too deep. We're just offering that there's several ways a person can interpret something. Is all that we're saying.
Right.
That's it. It
I don't
wasn't a right
disagree.
or wrong.
I don't disagree with what you said because that's what you did in that situation because you thought that was the right thing to do for yourself. We're not saying that you
Yeah.
did it wrong, but I'm saying for me, I personally would be like, girl, how you know what I do in my bedroom anyway, just based on how I've come into this world, girl. And first off, how you know I know everything that goes down in the gay community or this, that, and third. Like you just coming up to somebody assume that they know something. Girl, I don't know you from a can of pig feet, girl.
She
See,
wasn't.
and I'm so petty. It would depend on if her hair was cute or not. If I would even talk to her. Girl, give me look. Here's my card. We can discuss
Well,
it the
she
next
was on the
appointment.
surgical floor, so she had on a
Little
surgical
thing
and
now.
everything. But
I'm picking.
Girl, why is Bambi so touchy tonight? What's going on with her?
I
because
don't
y'all
like
blew that way out of proportion, I'm not being touchy. It was
It's
just
not blued out of proportion, girl. It's just your.
girl blew exactly blued out.
It was not
It's
blued
just a
out.
different
Girl,
opinion, girl. That's all it is. It's a
it's not
different
an
opinion.
opinion. It
But
was
when you say,
taken out of proportion.
it's taken out of proportion, that feels like it's like I hear, girl, I feel attacked because it was taken out. It wasn't all about that. Like no one's saying that you didn't. I was just trying to understand the scenario because I feel like the way based
I
off of
don't
what
feel
you said
attacked, but
and
I
how
feel
you.
like y'all are misinterpreting what was going on and then took it somewhere else that it didn't
Well,
need to go and then blew it out of proportion from what y'all thought
oh,
was going on.
but you left that open for us because you couldn't tell us what she actually asked you. So we're in our head, we're making
She
up a question to be about. I didn't hear the part. So
exactly,
in my head,
but
I'm making up a
it
question to
wasn't
be.
given all of that. That's why I keep saying, girl, it wasn't
Oh,
given
okay.
all of that. I've said that several times. I was like, girl, that's not what was going on. And then I think I don't know. Let's get back to this man with his trans
Oh, Ashley,
OnlyFans.
We talking about him, girl. I'm about to leave because I'm talking about him on Saturday, and I'm not
girl,
being redundant. Good
girl,
night.
we done.
She really said
We done, child. It's
Together
a wrap.
anyway.
It's not so many other ways that you can take and you can say the same thing. It's like a wrap.
Together
Alrighty,
for life.
y'all. Any final say so? Plugs?
No, I just want to thank Miss Charlotte for coming on, honey.
Well, you're welcome. I really enjoyed it. I'll try to pop in again sometime.
Thank you. It
Thank
was
you
Yep.
for
good
coming,
talking with you.
Charlotte.
Anytime, anytime.
All right.
Look back at it, Leslie. What's going on, baby? Thank you for coming in. I know you slid in at the end, but thank you for coming in.
Hey,
Hope you
Leslie and Royalty.
return it. Bambi, you got the floor.
Oh, girl, I just thanked everybody I wanted to thank. Um,
They called us dumb.
Let me open my Pop Tarts, girl. Um, Everyone have a good night and have a good rest of the week. I guess I'll see you guys on Saturday on Savon's channel. Since she just left, she's probably over there eating her chicken nuggets, girl.
Girl, don't
I
do
don't
that.
know, girl. I see she did some greens, girl. But anyway, y'all have a good night. Love y'all.
Hold on 1 second. All right, Silent Artist, you are up next.
Hell, that's somebody else's. Hey y'all, thank you for coming. We enjoyed Miss Charlotte coming in and giving us perspective from us cis hetero woman. So we won't be going in circles, girl. We enjoyed that portion of it. Um, But yeah, I just hope that my last thing I will say, like Royalty said in the chat, that in 2021, I hope people will be more open minded and we can all just get along. Because, girl, that's all we need to do at this point, girl. We still dealing with the pandemic and all that. So we need to mind our damn business, girl. And if it ain't got nothing to do with us, girl, we need to shut the fuck up. But that's just how I feel. But anyway, you guys know how I say my shit as I always do, girl. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, girl. If you enjoyed this conversation, we shall be back here on Sunday with the Cool Down with Jasmine Divine. Okay, then we'll be back on Tuesday for the Cool Down with Jasmine Divine with Mr. Lyric coming back. So stay tuned for that. So you guys will enjoy that as well, I'm sure. So again, hit that like and subscribe button. I'll see you guys next time.
All right, babe, hold for just 1 second. The one and only owner of PastorSugar.com. All righty, you have the floor.
Thank you all for coming. I hope you enjoyed tonight's topic, and I hope you learned something as well. Make sure you do hit that like button and go ahead, subscribe, and share. We'll see you back here on Sunday for the cool down. I'm so looking forward to next Tuesday when Child Divine, when Lyric comes back. Yes, Lord, with the word and his talent. If you all don't know, I am the CEO and founder of Past Sugar, which is a online boutique. I specialize in wardrobe styling and beauty advising. And seeing as February, which is approaching us next in the next few days, is coming up. If you didn't know, that's actually the 2 year anniversary of the launch. So I have some special stuff planned for Past Sugar. Make sure you go over to www.pastsugar.com where sign up for the email subscriptions so you can get into what's going on there. And for those of you who are not aware, the Lily Speak series that is also on YouTube, my YouTube channel, Mix Leander Alexander. And the new one will be premiering this Saturday at noon. So make sure you go over there, follow and subscribe, and make sure your notifications are on. Have a good night, y'all, and see y'all Saturday on the Savon Experience. Bye.
All righty, hold for a second for me. If y'all don't know who Savon is, that's my girl. Don't forget to go over and check out her channel. The Savon Experience. Yes, my God, today. Don't forget, coming up on Tuesday, that's Tuesday, the Chat with Divine returns with the one and only Lyric Music, where all the tea comes out. We'll be checking in on love, life, and laughter and seeing exactly what is what. Once again, I'd like to wish each and every one of y'all a wonderful and good evening. Full tea for Edward, Lily, Silent Artist, look back at it, Leslie. The Savon from Savon Experience. Miss Kimmy Brown. Thank you, Miss Charlotte, for coming in with us this evening. His Majesty, the King, Silent Artist, the Anthony Brown Show. Breezy Bree. Thank you all for coming in and being with me tonight. As I say each and every time, without you, there will be no me. And once again, we send our condolences to the one and only Miss Cicely Tyson and the Tyson family. We are, deeply saddened by your loss. And we'd like to thank each and every one of y'all for thanking her for all of the love and all of the everything that she's done for our community and being such a strong activist for our community. We'd like to thank who else? There's so much I like to thank. I feel like I'm getting ready for the Academy Awards, child. Hey, Baba Shambaba. The world is ghetto.
Earth is ghetto, I wanna leave. Can you beam me up? I'm out on the street by the corner store. You know, the one on 15th. Got a bright shirt on, so I'm easy to see. I've been down here stranded indefinitely. I can't reach my planet, but I need to leave. You should see these people. It's hard to believe how they treat each other. It's hard to conceive. Oh, Earth is ghetto, I wanna leave. Oh, Earth is ghetto, I wanna leave. I wanna leave. They got their hungry, starving, nothing to eat, and the homeless living out on the street, and the city.
I'd like to thank each and every one of y'all for everything that y'all do. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe. Don't forget, God only made one of you. And if you're not you, who the hell else can you be? So until next time, see y'all on Saturday night with the Savon Experience. And I thank you.
Tell me pretty lies, look me in the face. Tell me that you love me.